3, 2, 1.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the JKA Star Wars podcast, brought to you by JKAgear.com. Gear.com. I mess that up every time.
Every
You'd think
time.
I would have it by now. JKAgear.com. We'll just put it up so that way there's no confusing. Go check it out for all your sweet Star Wars needs, merchandise, news, this podcast,
Yeah.
etc.
Hey, we're there.
Yeah. Today on the podcast, we have Matt Galupo.
Amanda Ulrich.
Trevor Adams.
And Kevin Burke.
Great. So, I don't know if you guys at home know this. We're actually friends outside the podcast.
Boo.
That's not true. We actually hate each
Wait,
other,
what?
but we do occasionally get together. And recently, we watched a fan cut of the prequels that I want to talk about. The cut was Turn to the Dark Side. It took all the prequels, put them into one movie. I'm acting like I'm explaining this to you guys, but you guys were there watching with me, so I just direct this
I
at the
feel like
camera.
I grasped it.
Yeah.
I
You understood the
most of
concept.
the idea
yeah.
of
So
what they were trying
they
to
made
do.
it into one movie, and I want to talk about that a little bit, about the prequels in general, and what we think of the lore and how they will influence Episode 7. It's what we're going to do
Wow,
today.
Matt, that was a great thesis for the podcast.
Thanks.
Thank you so
Where
much.
It's going
That
to be
was
beginning, middle, end. CDW.
five
right?
paragraph essay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I went to college.
Oh man,
I
haven't.
didn't. Sorry, Mom. Anyway, the cut was done by.
Double Digit. That is the
That's right.
group that we think that we found that made the cut that we've
Yeah.
seen. Again, I found it on Vimeo. Downloaded about a year ago, and we only just got to watching it now.
And that's how long it
we
takes
waited
us
for this podcast. We were.
to
That's what
be
we were
born.
waiting for.
Yeah.
Preparing for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, for
To
you guys.
strike.
Okay, but before we
What?
talk about that, I want to talk about the prequels in general. Everybody does poopy on the prequels.
You know,
And
that's
I
how
don't
the
know,
critics
I don't
put
know
it.
why.
That's how the critics put it.
Yeah.
Everyone does poop.
Everyone does poopy on the prequels. And honestly, we understand why, but we've heard it so much that I want to talk about what's good about the prequels. Like, I want to talk about what is actually worthwhile and what are your favorite parts and what parts just are objectively good.
I've brought up a specific character before. I don't
Great.
think he gets enough screen time in the prequels.
Yeah.
Kit Fisto. We just see him very, very briefly, and you're just like, who is this interesting looking Jedi that nobody seems to talk to ever? He's he doesn't
Yeah.
have lines.
So do you want to
Yeah, I was saying,
remind
do you-
people
why
who Kit
do you
Fisto is?
like-
Because we just started with an extremely
Yeah,
deep cut
wow.
in the prequels. We just jumped right in the deep end. Kit Fisto. Who's Kit
We're about to
Fisto?
run. Kit Fisto, if I'm not mistaken, he's the green guy with the huge, black, weird-looking eyes, and we see
Yeah.
a lot of him in the Clone Wars, and he's got, a Jamaican accent, and he lives underwater, and he's super interesting and very, kind and just, a great character that I want to know more about all the time. And in the prequels, he's there, and that's it.
He gets
He's-
killed pretty quickly
So
by Emperor
again,
Palpatine.
I'm like, hey, what are your guys' favorite part of the prequels? And Trevor's favorite part of the prequels is Kit Fisto's not in it. I'm complaining. So not addressing the question. Good stuff about the prequels.
I'm gonna call that a backdoor
that he
poopy.
is in it, and that led to us learning more about him in Clone Wars. So they planted a seed, and then it grew into a great character that was inevitably killed again in the prequels, kind of abruptly.
So almost a good save.
Almost.
You almost saved
Thank
it,
you.
but then you again
Well,
did poopy on the prequels.
so
and
did
said he
all-
got killed in the prequels.
Every favorite Jedi you have is gonna die in Order 66. No matter that's everybody you love in the prequels is probably dead.
I love Yoda.
yeah, Yoda's
I
not
love
dead.
Yoda.
Anyway.
He exiled himself.
All right.
Himself.
So other good things about the prequels. Anybody have one?
Oh, I've got one.
Yeah, go for it.
So we hear in 4, 5, and 6 about all these amazing Jedi things, and the most we really see of it is Yoda lifting the X-wing out of the Dagobah swamp
Yes.
and everything. We see some Force lightning. We don't really get too much else. But then in the prequels, we actually get to see Jedi's being badass,
Yeah.
lightsaber fights that are off the chain and stuff, and just sending the Galactic Senate at each other between the fight between Yoda and Emperor Palpatine. So cool.
Yeah. I want to say, and that was also one of mine, which is everything that we love about Jedi and we think that's really cool about Jedi actually comes from the prequels.
Right.
We're oh, sick ass lightsaber throws and awesome lightsaber duels. It's not like an old man and a robot standing there. No,
Yeah.
no, and then he's besting me. I'm just gonna give up. Like, that's like the climactic lightsaber duel of episode 4. So yeah, absolutely. They expand lightsabers and they expand the Force in very interesting ways.
Yeah.
Which we don't see in 4, 5, and 6.
Which fight did Yoda absorb Force lightning into a ball and then like just kind of harness it?
Episode 3. I think
That
that's 3.
was,
that was 3?
super cool.
When he throws the Senate and stuff, right?
Oh, is it
When
that
he
same fight?
actually-
No, it's not against
no,
Dooku.
because that was
is it Dooku?
The fight with Dooku, I think, is where he did it. Because when he fights Palpatine, he like absorbs the lightning and then it causes a huge explosion.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
yeah,
right.
but like
I
he
think it
catches
is
the
Dooku.
lightning into like this ball of Force energy and then just like closes his fist.
Yeah,
like,
no one else
yeah,
can
that
do
was
that.
Yeah,
so
that
no
was
one
great.
else
sick.
can do that.
He Uncle Iroh's it, right?
Yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender reference.
Yeah, great. Everybody loves
man.
that.
Comment
Podcast
Avatar:
are
The
you
Last Airbender.
Stop.
It's now
No,
an
that's not the
Avatar.
call to action. Don't do that. Okay, so everybody does poopy.
That's the
Everyone
nomenclature.
do poopy on the prequels for the bad acting,
Yeah.
which we can generally attribute to bad directing.
Are you just going to talk about bad acting? Or you
no,
have a
I'm
point?
talking.
Okay.
No, this is leading into someone I actually really liked, and I didn't realize it because I haven't seen the prequels in a while. But we watched the recut, which reminded me of a lot of stuff. Watto in episode 2, best actor in the movies. You know why?
Why?
Because he had animators taking care of him, and they have to pay attention to details, and he has to respond to input from other people.
Yeah.
You can see him think about things and then like answer. It's
Yeah.
great. He is wonderful, and also you can see how far he's fallen since Anakin left.
That's true.
He can't repair his own stuff. His shop goes into ruins. He's sitting there with a basic little like those repair droids.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't figure it out. Anakin picks
Pit
it up,
droids, right?
fixes it. Yeah, pit droid, nice.
Yeah, also he has subtext in his speech.
Yeah.
He's not like, I'm down and out. He's like, hey, want to help me on this job? I'm not desperate. I'm not asking my slave for help. He's not like, I'm desperate, help me.
Yeah.
No, there's subtext in his speech. Sure.
Nobody wanna buy.
Yeah.
Also, I haven't shaved because I can't afford a razor. I look disgusting.
He must have a very special razor because he's like all wrinkly and stuff.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
how would you? That just seems rough.
They have laser razors in the future.
Laser razor.
They're
Oh,
actually
man, that
developing
sells
one of those
itself.
on
That's what
Kickstarter.
Kyber crystals are used for. Lightsabers and laser razors. They're
That's where they make their money.
uses. Yeah.
The Jedi thing is just.
And
Oh,
like
it's
they could just
that's their tax shelter. They
they could
So-
come up with another name, but laser razor rhymes, so they're like, it's too good. It's too good.
Guys, we struck gold in the first one.
yeah.
I think that they made some very beautiful planets in the first.
Sure.
Like pretty,
yeah.
pretty different new atmospheres, and like gave us a bigger background on some
Absolutely.
of the other.
Yeah, because in episode 4 we see desert.
Yeah.
In episode 5 we see ice. In episode
Swamp.
6 we see forest.
If you look right
Those-
behind Matt's head, those
You
are
can
the
see
things.
the places.
Those are those. Each one of those represents a different movie.
Endor's off screen. Where it belongs.
Yikes.
It does.
That has some
Yeah.
feelings
It's
about
coming
that.
That was
coming down
rough.
hard
Where's
on
the-
the
yeah, what
Ewoks. But yeah, the planet. Not only that, but we get like multiple planets per per
Episode?
movie.
Yeah.
Per episode. Sure. Yeah, per episode.
We can
which
see
is cool.
Coruscant and
Yeah.
stuff, which is
And
very
we actually
cool.
get into Coruscant.
Say actually like an urban planet, which just didn't exist in any of the prequels. Or sorry, the original trilogy. that
We
saw.
saw Celebration, I guess,
But that
on
was- I thought that was
Coruscant,
added
but that
later.
was added later.
Yeah, so that I feel like
But
doesn't count.
oh, okay.
What
sure,
does it?
Sure.
Are we counting that?
Yeah, it's canon. It's
Yeah.
canon. It counts.
Okay. It counts.
But yes, planets. The planets is like a really cool part.
Okay, the giant lizard creature that Obi-Wan rides in episode 3.
So I'm gonna generalize it, maybe just a bit, in that we do get interesting like,
Sci-fi
creature
stuff.
Yeah.
designs.
Oh, and we also got I don't remember what scene it was, but like the little tiny pygmy people from that one episode of Clone Wars. The one of those guys who's just in the background like chasing a little animal. That was really fun. It was like, oh, that guy's cute. It was
I
like-
think Trevor just
most
loves the
of
Clone
CG
Wars.
stuff. is-
Detailed examples. Yeah, I know. A lot of your stuff is like, oh, it was in the background, but they made it great in Clone Wars. No, we're just prequels.
Yeah.
I can't help it. So suck it. It's gonna happen.
It's probably because you just
gonna-
rewatched
yeah.
them and
Yeah.
you had watched Clone Wars more.
Sure.
recently.
So there's a lot of
then you're
association in my
seeing
head.
these
Yeah,
things
yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
Clone Wars.
Okay, fine. You want
yeah.
something not Clone Wars?
Yeah, yeah.
Ewan McGregor.
Oh, I was gonna say that one.
The
That's a big
acting,
one.
just
Yeah.
just great.
carries the movies.
And
Yeah.
he's the workhorse of those films. He does all the work, and well, most of the
What
way.
a great Alec Guinness impersonation too. Like he carries that like he like really ages him down
And
in
he
a
takes
very
it,
real way.
yeah, absolutely, beyond just an impersonation.
Yeah,
and
sorry,
makes it a very
impersonation
real
was
character,
a strong word
which
for
is
that, but-
really interesting. Like I feel like he's studied the character of Obi-Wan. He's like, oh, what must he have been, and then like gone through this like descent, kind of into this old desert hermit
Right.
who's still wise, right?
Right, he's
And-
wise, but he loses his snark.
Yeah,
Like, he's
yeah,
got a
yeah.
little bit of snark
Snark
to
of
him,
it,
which is
yeah.
really fun.
Yeah, the desert beats the snark out of him.
That's why Luke has no snark. He was
Yeah.
born in the desert.
Snarkless Luke.
Yeah,
Raised in the desert.
which is cool. It's kind of like and again, I want to stay away from being bad at the prequels, but like where it's kind of the Vader arc that we wanted, where we saw this wonderful arc from that actor. I'm gonna say the generic thing, or no, you know what? I'm gonna go a little bit meta with it and say visual effects. Everybody shits on Jar Jar, and yeah, rightfully so. But like his look for 1999 is crazy how good that was. And it did do the Star Wars thing, which is spur the industry onward and kind of gave birth to the fully CG character, which paved the way for characters like Gollum.
yeah.
And
All the
and
Planet
Lord
of the
Rings.
Apes.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Planet of the Apes and all this other. and
Matt,
all
your
this other
animator
amazing
is
stuff.
showing.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah. So to be meta about it, the technology, of the prequels, the like behind the
Certainly.
scenes
It's like Birth of a
technology
Nation.
was
Sure, it's
fantastic.
nice 'cause
racist,
it-
but it made a lot of, it pushed a lot of things forward for cinema.
I did not understand
There
that
we
joke.
go. Birth of a Nation was who? Who directed that?
Oh, God.
Oh, our
D.W.
director. Our director knows.
Wow,
Who directed it. Yeah. D.W. Griffith.
Yeah.
Birth of a Nation.
I know a little bit, not a lot.
Yeah. That was that was the part I liked too. So
Oh, another thing
Okay.
that. Oh, did you have
no,
something?
go for it. You go.
I want to hear
another-
the next background thing. Go.
Well, it's not so much
What
a
else is great
background
about
thing; it's
Clone
something
Wars?
that they planted. Uncle Owen, we got to see him, and he was played by that actor whose
Joel
name is-
Edgerton.
Joel Edgerton,
Comes out of nowhere.
just like, hey, I'm Luke's uncle. This
Pudgy
is-
little Joel
This is
Joel
my
Edgerton.
girlfriend, Veru.
Yeah.
Baru.
Yeah, it's Baru.
Damn it!
Oh, and they serve
okay.
a red drink in that.
Yeah, it's
They
really
serve him a
good.
red
They do
drink
give
in
him
that.
homage to
Yeah.
red drinks.
Oh.
That's what they say.
If
Yes.
we're so he was there, and they planted that, and you get to see Luke's home before he
Yeah.
grows up there, and they do like a couple shots that allude to like that same like standing. You get to see the sunset in the background, and he's getting handed the baby by Obi-Wan, and then like the music is great. Another thing that they did in the prequels, they used a couple lines from the original trilogy that I thought worked really well. Like when Palpatine was talking to Anakin, he says, "Search your feelings. You know this to be true." Or so
Yeah.
the last part is a little tweaked, but he says, "Search your feelings," and then that
you know
carries
it to
over.
be true. Yeah, he does say that.
Yeah, and that carries over when Darth Vader is talking to Luke. He says, "Search your feelings. You know it to be true." So you can see there's a little bit of the Oh, I hit my mic. A little bit of the indoctrination there from Palpatine to Anakin, something that's just like stuck with him,
Right.
And so that he carries on into his life when he's talking to Luke. And so they just set something up
Yeah,
that pays off that originally wasn't designed to be a payoff. So I thought that was cool, adding that layer. And they did it a couple other times, but that
was the one that
sticks
also
out.
stuck out to me.
Yeah.
It was like, oh man, you see those seeds. You use the word seed. You see those seeds planted, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I hope we all we got fans or the audience to just take away like, oh yeah, there is some.
It wasn't
pretty
all bad.
Great stuff from the prequels.
It was bad, but it wasn't all
The bad
bad.
stuff is in your face. It's the good stuff
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of a little more
Yeah,
subtle.
you know what? You got to be a real fan to find the good in the prequels. That's what I'm gonna say.
This glass is half full.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I
Like-
think there's a lot of great sci-fi stuff, and
Oh,
again,
yeah.
a lot of building blocks of Star Wars, like all the Force and lightsaber, really it's in our heads
Yeah.
come from the prequels,
Yeah.
which then influence games. Like the prequels, I feel way more influence games
Sure.
than 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So-
if not for the prequels, like you said, we wouldn't have lightsaber throwing, which is like the coolest and thing that makes the
Yeah.
most sense.
Yeah. To be fair,
To
for
do.
fans, there is a lightsaber throw in Episode 5, but I think Darth Vader just wings it
Yeah.
and then it hits the ceiling and falls down. So it's not like the cool, interesting throws.
It wasn't like a boomerang lightsaber.
No.
It was like, oh, well, it's over there now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
The lightsaber loss in the prequels every time they lose, but that's not a
So
good thing.
much.
It's just
so
you know
much.
to me that
All right, we're gonna get this point. I'm gonna let us finish this point, but we're not gonna.
to me, it's like on like an episodic show or like a show that has like a week to week thing, and it's like an adventure show or whatever. People get knocked out all the time,
yeah.
and if people were to get knocked out that often, they would have serious concussive damage to their head, and they'd be like brain
be football
damage.
players.
Like,
Yeah.
and they use it. It's just like such a TV
Just a
trope.
trope.
And I feel like in Star Wars, it's the same thing. If you lost your lightsaber like 4 times, I think the Jedi Council would be like, "No, you're out. No. We're not. No, we have to go to a different planet and mine for crystals. You have to go on this whole spirit quest. No, you can't do it 5 times. You're done. You're out of the order."
Although I would love to see that episode where like it is the Clone Wars where it's all the little Padawans searching for their crystal and like just the derpy Jedi is like and yeah, Padawans, this is your first. Craig, this is your 5th. We're very disappointed in you.
He's like, yeah, I know where the cluster of crystals is. I'm just gonna walk to the back.
I'm trying to think of a job where you could, lose an item. Like if I lost my computer 5 times, I would get fired.
Yeah, they'd
or
be like, "No more
if you're a
computers."
cop and you lose your gun 5 times, that might be bad.
Yeah.
Or if you're like
little bad.
if you're a teenager and you lose your iPhone 6 times, you get a Nokia and you're stuck with the brick for like a year and a half.
What's the equivalent of a Nokia for the lightsaber?
Stick.
Do they give them
A
the blast
laser
one?
razor. It's a laser razor.
Laser razor. Call back.
Hey.
Point for Kevin.
Woo!
Damn it.
My first
I
point
know.
ever. I've never gotten a point before.
Yeah.
Aw.
Aw.
I think that's because you're normally the one giving the points or keeping the points. You're
I
above
keep track
the
of the points.
law.
It's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
not good for the record keeper to get points.
Yeah, if we're including
What if I
him,
start
he gets to
embezzling
the-
points,
it's,
guys?
It's like he's the bank in Monopoly. He's just sliding the pink
bank is usually
20s
a
under
player.
his- Yeah, but
Banker's
I'm
a
saying
player.
that's a lot of power, though.
But you trust me with it, right, Trevor?
Yes,
You trust me with it.
so much.
For the audio podcast, he is shaking his head in disagreement.
I can't see him either.
I'm just
yeah,
playing.
I know. It was because Kevin can't see me, so
What?
I was.
Oh, I can
was
see you
doing
now.
this. I was
There you
saying
are.
yes. It was a great joke. That was
For
completely
the audio
marred.
podcast, there is a miscommunication amongst all of us. All right, so I want to talk now about the cut itself. Woo! Like I want to talk about the things they cut, which I think for one, if you haven't watched it, it's definitely worth a watch. It's an interesting
Totally,
take
yeah.
on it, and you will now hear the things that aren't in it. So these are kind of spoilers. So if you want to
sure,
skip,
yeah. If you want to skip this
don't
part,
skip.
Yeah, don't
It'll
listen to us
enhance
talk because we're
your-
great.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
It'll enhance your experience of viewing it. So, anything surprising that they cut for you guys?
okay, go ahead.
No, Kevin. I've been talking a lot. You go.
All right,
ahead.
I think we can all agree. Amanda, anything surprising?
Well, I mean, I think it's funny. I don't know if it's so much surprising that they basically cut the whole first movie. There's
great.
one
Yeah,
scene
yeah.
from it,
Yeah.
which is awesome. But at the same time, they did cut one of my favorite parts, which was the pod racing. And
Pod
I
racing,
love
yeah.
pod racing.
Yeah.
I think that it was really cool.
Yeah, pod racing was great. Something we didn't mention was the pod racing stuff.
Yeah, there's no pod. Yeah.
No, he was saying that like
Yeah.
we didn't mention that it was a good
That
part.
we liked the pod
Ah.
It's
racing.
a good part in the prequels, but
Oh,
Yeah.
our-
all right,
Yeah,
our
yeah.
director is communicating with us through sign language and giggles. We're
They're right
changing
there.
out the battery
Wow.
for a camera.
JKA podcast, the most professional podcast in the galaxy.
We talk about what we're doing while we're doing it, and I'm
yeah.
pointing to a camera that is currently being turned off.
You know what? You know what I could do?
But there's
we
another one. There's
we
one up-
could cut this out. Like I could, but I don't think
No,
I'm going
No,
I
to.
feel like we're not.
we show our fans everything.
Yeah, yeah, right. To make an
Warts and all.
right? What's it called? Dogma 95. That was a film reference.
Oh,
No?
yeah, I
Cinema
saw-
Verite, is that what you're
Yeah,
talking
Cinema
about?
Verite.
I
There
saw
you go.
Dogma.
Cinema Verite.
I also like the
Never mind.
universe.
Nope. Don't. You don't need to save that. It was bad. All right, great.
And we're back up. We don't make
And,
mistakes.
Nothing happened. We'll just take up from here. No, we won't.
Yeah.
We'll let all spin there.
Oh.
We wouldn't do
but
that.
Yeah, pod racing. We did not mention pod racing in like what's good from the prequels because I feel like that's a given. I feel like in every time people show the prequels, they're like, "Oh, it's awful," except for the pod racing. Like, yeah, pod racing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we didn't. But yeah, they cut pod racing.
Which I mean, I guess
They
you
just-
won't-
they just-
they only
yeah.
had 3 hours
Yeah,
to try
yeah.
to fit
Everything
full
in.
movies in.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
yeah.
They just cut young Anakin as well.
Yeah. Which
Which
allows for the idea of which is something that I liked is that Anakin just mentions that he hasn't seen her in 10 years. And so we don't get any of the backstory. We don't get that she saw him on Tatooine. We don't get any of that stuff. So it allows the idea that, oh, maybe they knew each other when they were younger and they just haven't seen each other in a while. And so it's not super creepy that, like, she's so much older than him.
Yeah, plot holes get filled in your head really easily when you start to see that.
Yeah.
Also, just great way, like storytelling wise, to introduce characters. It's better to like see characters that already know
In
each
motion,
other.
yeah.
I feel
The
so you're not
audio's
them.
always playing
You're
catch
not
up.
seeing exactly.
Yeah.
You're not seeing people like meet each other for the first time. Like when Han and Lando, when we see them see each other, you're like, oh shit, there's history. Lando's gonna fry Han, and then like, oh, he was joking. I'm also in on the inside joke. Yeah.
Matt, you talk with
Is that
people
most
often? You know
social
how people
interaction for
talk
you?
to each
Yeah,
other? Is that-
that's it, right, guys?
we knew the jokes. We were
yeah.
We were, I haven't looked
I-
at your face this entire
Yeah.
time because I'm trying to talk on mic.
get
But
it.
you look very pretty today.
Thank you.
For those of you listening to the audio podcast,
Amanda looks very pretty
Amanda
today.
looks very pretty today.
Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah.
It's very nice of you.
She's married.
Tangent.
Her husband's inside. He's bigger than me. This is silly.
Oh boy.
Ladies,
We are off.
we are all over the place. So
Something I thought that was weird that they skipped.
Yeah, Kevin,
Okay.
go.
The clones.
Yeah.
They skipped the entire origin story of the clones,
We don't
which
get-
I think is
Yeah.
totally fine. I did
Yeah.
not miss that noir piece of plot from it. Like they
Obi-Wan
do,
is a detective.
Yeah,
Is that what
which
you're
again,
talking
I
about?
love noir stories, but it felt like plot for plot's sake as opposed to this is an interesting character turn that we're going to see.
Yeah.
Like Obi-Wan is just tracking it down, just finding out new information. Obi-Wan doesn't change at all throughout that. And we don't get any like interesting Star Wars characters. More just
Yeah.
like, hey, you wonder where stormtroopers came from? It's like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and also it's kind of frustrating in a movie such as Star Wars where there's so many cool things to see a singular character hit dead ends, which happens a lot in noir. And he hits like a lot of dead ends on his journey, which is rough. It's rough
Yeah.
because it can really grind a story to a halt, especially with so many moving pieces like Star Wars. So I'm glad they kind of got rid of that for
especially when
plot-wise
like
as
the
well.
original movies are so breezy when it comes to plot. Really, like
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at like 3 things happen in each of the movies. Like it's like in the first one, it's like Luke goes off with Han. They get captured by the Death Star. They blow up the Death Star. Like that's all that happens in that movie.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Yeah. It's very simple is what I meant by that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's bad. It's just
Yeah.
it's elegant maybe.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
like
I
a
use the word
lightsaber.
elegant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they not only cut out clones, so like we don't really hear the mention of clones, just barely, and we only see clones without their helmets on. I think in one shot that I
Yeah, it's
noticed.
like
Yeah.
Cody.
So it's
right?
not really
Yeah,
referenced.
it-
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's-
Cody and crew
Yeah.
is what I call them.
Do you like Cody from the Clone Wars? Is that someone that you?
Are we
enjoy?
gonna bring
Oh,
up
we're
Cody?
gonna bring up Clone
Do you
Wars.
like-
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
like
yeah,
Cody?
yeah. Yes, he's a wonderful character, and his bond with Obi-Wan. They're so
This is your
tight,
fault,
and they go
Kevin?
through so many
Oh,
things.
I'm in this
and then
moment. I
when
like
Order
this.
66 happens, it just adds so much weight to everything that happens.
Well, it
because
makes
they're like it's like there's the scene in like whatever it's 3 where he's like, "We were brothers, Anakin," like that. Well, he and Cody went through just as much shit.
Yeah.
Like, it was also that relationship where it's like, I trusted you. We've been through everything together, and we just don't see him crying about it.
No,
But,
Cody.
like,
Cody turns on a dime.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, Order 66. Got it. Yeah. That's what we're doing now. We're
Oh,
just
you wanted
killing
to
all the
see
dead.
like a brainwash?
Yeah, because that's what they implied in
Yeah,
Clone Wars
Clone
that
Wars,
it
that
was.
there's some chip.
But I guess the chip just real quick just okay, kill all the Jedi. Yep, we're gonna do that.
Which is probably what it would be in like real life. Brain control trips in real life.
yeah. Those
Yeah,
are
of course.
super rough.
Yeah. So I'm now just going against the plot, but I wanted to actually bring up another favorite thing from the prequels, and this is actually I think made way better in the cut. Is the love story is actually made better in the cut in that they cut a lot of it out.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And
They still
Yeah,
left
yeah.
a lot of it in.
they did leave a lot of it in, but like what they cut out actually makes it feel a little more genuine to
Yeah.
me, I guess. Like it does. And when the love story works the best is when it's the two of them, and I feel bad saying this.
No, say
but
it.
the two of them not saying anything. Like
Yeah.
it is just the two of them, and they shared this look of of like, oh, I'm a Jedi, I can't kiss you. Oh, I'm a senator, I can't kiss you either. And just like cutting back and forth, and then John Williams doing the heavy lifting with the music. It's like, oh, I feel for these characters. It's actually really nice. It's like a Jane Austen novel out there on Naboo that I actually liked.
I can just picture John Williams getting into the scoring stage, just like rolling up his sleeves. Oh, we got a lot of work to do today, boys. Let's do this. Here we go.
Just, where the fuck is the clarinet? We need more clarinet for this. Because I imagine that's how John Williams.
I honestly thought they were
orchestrates.
going to cut a lot more of the love scenes. And
Yeah,
the love
so
stuff.
too much love is in there.
No, I thought they were going to cut more,
Oh, yeah,
and I
yeah,
agree
yeah.
with you. I think that they left a good amount in there, but it made it feel.
Well,
better.
the
Yeah, it
only
did.
one that I didn't think, because I agree, there was that scene where they're on the like balcony terrace, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, and he like touches her hand. He talks about how soft she is, and it was like really
That's
weird.
The
Compares her to
sand.
sand.
It was like, but then they
You're
share
not
that
like
look,
the
and the look was
sand.
really great. But then a couple scenes later, we have the scene in like the flowers. It's like, oh, this doesn't need to be here.
Yeah. I mean,
But I think what it's trying to do is focus on the character story of Anakin, where it's about him. Again, it's called Turn to the Dark Side.
Yeah.
So it is about him turning to the dark side, and that's the focus of the whole movie. And they kind of use the Obi-Wan story as a bit of a B plot.
Yeah,
Where-
it almost
which
is
I-
a foil as well, where it's
Yeah.
like Obi-Wan's hitting a lot of these same issues,
Yeah.
and just responding to them in a very, very different way.
Yep.
Other than Obi-Wan doesn't knock somebody up. I guess it not knock up. They are married. That is unfair
Yeah.
of me. They do get married, so it's not like out of wedlock or anything.
Yeah, so Nat doesn't disapprove of it then.
So, yeah, that's
okay.
fine. That's-
Doesn't matter that he
that's-
swore an oath to the Jedi,
Yeah, that does
order.
matter.
Yeah, they're super not sneaky about their relationship. Like they get welcome to the planet. They're walking off. They're in like giant pillars, and she's like hiding behind one of the pillars, but not really, just standing near it. And then she sees him. He's like, "I'll catch up with you in a minute." Turns, runs, and hugs and kisses her 10 feet away from the people he was just standing with. He's super not great about
He
sneaking
tripped
around.
and fell, and her lips caught his. That was all.
That
That was it. That was just what happened.
Amanda is his lawyer, representing Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I found Jar Jar Binks still annoying, but far, far less because he was far less there.
Yeah.
He was less
He was
there.
he was
That's
in
true.
like
But he
2
wasn't
scenes.
annoying. It wasn't
Yeah.
distracting. Whereas, like, I feel like in the actual prequels, he is distractingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. There's like that one intro line where you wince a little bit, but then as it goes on, he actually provides context and
Yeah.
backstory for the
Yeah.
Padme Anakin relationship. Like Anakin confides in him, he's like, "Oh, I thought that would like go way better," and then Jar Jar's like, "No, she likes you. Like, yeah, don't be worried about it." And it's like, "Oh my God, Jar Jar."
Bro.
Like, yeah. Also, again, a CG character like playing subtext, not being like, oh, she has a lot on her mind, instead of being like, oh yeah, she doesn't think about you at all. Like, oh man, that was nice. So, I want to now talk about what we think from the prequels, if anything, theme-wise or whatever, will make it into Episode 7. Like, what from the prequels will be in Episode 7. I will start out, and it's just a callback. I think we're going to just see Episode 7 lightsaber fights and Episode 7 Force use. Like those are going to borrow from the prequels rather than 4, 5, and 6.
I
just
think
to take a page out of the Kevin book.
I think Kylo Ren is gonna fuck shit up.
Yeah.
I think
Like
we're gonna get to
prequel
see-
style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like I think he's gonna cut people. He's gonna cut down some younglings or some shit, and he's gonna throw stuff at people that's like really heavy, and it's gonna be awesome to watch.
I'm
gonna
going to
say-
disagree.
Yeah.
I think they're going to bring it down a notch with that stuff because I think that they hit such a when you're throwing the Galactic Senate at each other. It's so hard to top that in a realistic way
Oh, okay.
for like, especially for characters who have no formal training. There is
So-
no Jedi Council.
Yeah, there isn't anymore.
There must be a Sith Lord or something who's teaching Kylo Ren in theory.
Maybe.
Or
Or he was teaching himself.
He just
Sure.
as a fanatic who has found some kind of holocron, and he's.
I am also going to disagree with you that I don't think
So you
he's
seen
going to take
Rebels?
down younglings.
Because there aren't
Because-
any left.
there's not gonna be-
Well, one, there's not any left, and two, like how many murdering children stories can Star
Can
Wars
you
get?
fit?
Yeah,
can
can
you
one
fit in there?
franchise handle?
I mean, if they're gonna go for anything, maybe it's like blind elderly people or something like that.
Point for Amanda. That was great.
That is a
That's a
point, yeah.
great call.
This nursing home is costing the First Order too much money. Kylo, on it.
So maybe they'll split the difference. Maybe they'll use the force powers from 4, 5, and 6 and the lightsaber stuff from
Sure.
1, 2, and 3. So
Yeah,
it'll
they'll be
taking
more
the-
energetic
Maybe
fights.
the best of both.
Yeah.
The best
Yeah.
of both worlds.
All right.
Yeah, I could see.
That's really that's
Yeah, I
that's
could see
fun.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
I think you are going to have a little bit more of the government side of things as well, like a little bit of that from the prequels.
We'll see a little bit
because you
of the
have
politics.
that First Order. And
I'll
you
say
see,
the intrigue. We'll start to see
Yes.
maybe some
I think
intrigue.
that's-
It'll
and
be handled differently, but
I
we'll
think you
actually
will
see
see more
intrigue.
plot as well in this movie, as opposed
Yeah.
to sort of less plot that you saw in like the the original trilogy. I think they will probably add in a little bit more than that.
So it'll be
I
less
think so,
like
too.
straightforward. It's just like these are the 3 things that need to happen, and it's like more of a diverting story.
Yeah.
I'm an actor.
I
don't know
think
what
I
I'm
think
talking
audiences
about
now
story.
like
No,
a
whatever,
little bit
yeah.
more story and like twists
Yeah.
and turns and stuff.
And
a
of
little more
course,
dense.
like Trevor was bringing up, we're going to see a lot of homage as well. Like 1, 2, and
Yes.
3 did pay homage to the original ones, and I think we are going to see the same thing.
Oh yeah, a lot of
in
nods to
7.
the audience
Yeah,
of just
exactly.
like, oh hey,
Which
remember
is
this?
something just
Do you think
Abrams
they'll?
does.
Sorry, there's
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I have one favorite homage that I totally missed the first several times I saw the prequels, but in episode 2, there's a moment where you see a silhouette of Mandalorian armor that you're supposed to think is Boba Fett,
yeah.
but it's Jango Fett, but you have no idea who that is yet, and that's awesome.
Yeah. That
Sorry,
they're
I just
hinting
think
at-
that that's like, oh wait, how is this Boba Fett? That makes no sense at
That
all.
means
And then-
Boba
Yeah.
Fett must be really old, or like, how is this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But I love that. I thought
Again,
that was
great
really
piece
great.
of noir in there.
Yeah,
that was
exactly,
like
the
noir
silhouette
handled
and
like
everything.
very, very well,
was
like
great.
aesthetically and plot wise.
Yeah.
No, that was a good call, Kev.
Yeah. I also think that in 1, 2, and 3 we see 2 evenly matched sides against each other. Like we see the Separatists
Yeah.
and the Republic are kind of evenly matched against each other. Where 4 it's like underdog versus. I think they might be a little more evenly matched. Like I think we're going to see the Resistance and the First Order kind of evenly matched.
Yeah.
Like these big powers that be.
Yeah.
I think
I
we're
mean,
going to see it evenly matched.
I
good versus
imagine the
evil
First
power.
Order will be more organized.
Then
Because it's called the Order.
Yeah.
oh, I see. Then the
No,
Resistance.
Yeah. They're just a more organized situation with like a pay structure and like people.
Yeah,
have,
they'll be able to hit
yeah.
payroll. They'll
Yeah,
pay
it's like an
taxes.
Very
organization.
important.
It's like that
Direct
kind of
deposit
corporate
that.
organization, whereas the Resistance is like a startup that has just a lot of employees. They haven't figured out how to work it out yet.
Yeah, no, I agree. I
had
do
a
think
good
they're going to be
Kickstarter, though.
more even in power.
Damn it!
Just Amanda with the one-liners. All right, on Kickstarter, that is about all the time we have for today's podcast. We just blew through that. Great work, everybody. Today on the podcast, we had Matt Galupo. You can follow me on Twitter at Matt Galupo.
Amanda Ulrich. You can follow me at SoAm33.
Trevor Adams, you can follow me at Howlett HOWIETT.
And Kevin Burke, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Kevin with a KEVIN.
All right, that's it. This has been the JKA podcast. Go follow us on JKA Gear. Don't follow us on JKA Gear. Follow us on YouTube and iTunes and stuff. Go check out JKA Gear for all your sweet Star Wars needs. That's it. We're out. Woo! Cheers.
3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking through that episode with us. This episode is brought to you by jkagear.com. Go check it out for all your sweet Star Wars needs and news. Also, comment down below if you think of any other interesting stuff from the prequels, or comment with your favorite thing from the prequels. Today on the podcast we had Matt Galupo. You can follow me on Twitter at Matt Galupo.
Amanda Ulrich. You can follow me at SoAm33.
Trevor Adams, you can follow me at Howlett HOWIETT or Instagram Trevor.Adams.
Oh, that was disappointing.
I'm only going to put up
Almost
one
a
of
letdown.
those.
And you can follow me, Kevin Burke, at Kevin with a KEVIN, Twitter and Instagram.
Great. I want to give a quick shout out. We did this in another episode, but I want to give a quick shout out to our awesome fan art that we got.
Yeah.
Kevin, want to give a bit of a backstory?
Yeah, so my friends Tracy and Taylor, they made these 3D printed Lego Star Wars figures for us. As you can see, they are awesome. This is the coolest stuff. We love this stuff. This is amazing. So we just wanted to give a shout out. These are going to be featured, I think, forever.
Probably forever.
Yeah. Those are going to sit here.
Yeah, they're not going
for-
anywhere.
No.
You guys did a great job.
I think
Yeah,
more
wonderful
than
job.
the Legos being 3D printed for us that are gigantic. I wish we had a Lego for scale, but more than that,
We
Yeah,
have
Matt.
people for scale.
I'm amazed that we have fans. This is
Right?
incredible. It's like these people and Pistol Pete. That's those.
Yeah,
I
Pistol
love
Pete.
them.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Pistol Pete, go check us out on iTunes. If you hate our faces, go check us out on iTunes.
Yeah.
And review, just like Pistol Pete reviewed, and you'll get a shout out on the podcast as well. Also, while we're doing thank you to our director, Kelly. Kelly, thanks.
Yeah.
Kelly!
A.W. Griffith.
Kelly, my
Yeah, yeah.
landlord.
Yeah. All right. That is all the time we have for today. That's it. We're out. Bye.
Woo!